Hello, this is Aaron Eggman with Character Formation Coaching, a Christian mind-body transformational coaching technique. I'm in the series Becoming a Loving Person, and this episode is on the character structure of adulthood. The character structures come from Dr. Townsend's competence plus character model. It's where I went to grad school at the Townsend Institute. Highly recommend the organizational leadership, executive coaching, and counseling classes there. And so this is the model. And in an atmosphere of grace, truth, and time, we can grow in our character. And as we grow in our character, it affects our personal life, our performance life, and our relational life. And so we've gone over in the last movies, attachment. This is our ability to be in touch with our needs and to bring our needs into relationship with other people in our life. We've gone over separation, which is our ability to say no so that we can wholeheartedly say yes. It's our ability to know who we are and how we're different from other people, what we stand for, what we don't. Integration is positive and negative realities, being able to feel and deal with both positive emotions, negative emotions. Also, it has to do with our self-talk inside, and then also our environment around us, dealing with both positive and negative realities. And then today is on adulthood. The verse for today is, I am a man under authority and with soldiers under me. Authority is a part of the character structure of adulthood, and so that's where I get that verse. And so that's where we'll start with the character structure of adulthood. There's 4 substructures, and so adulthood is the capacity to function as a healthy adult. And so authority is, how do you relate to other people? Do you relate to other people as a child to a parent, as a parent to a child, or adult to adult, or as like a rebellious child? And so authority is that. How do you relate with people who are in authority above you? How do you relate with people who are in authority under you? How do you relate to people? And so, of course, there's the parent-child dynamic that's appropriate and good when there is a child and a parent in a relationship. But once we're both adults, and this is where I'm talking about now, what is a healthy functioning? And so that, of course, would be the healthy adult character structure of adulthood and authority is adult to adult functioning, which means it's where you're able to be assertive and share what's happening inside of you, and to be able to own how you're different and how you're own what your opinions, your beliefs, and not back down or capitulate. It's your ability to be mutual in a relationship, that you don't always have to be a parent in a relationship, but you can be in touch with your needs, and be able to be present and available for another person who's in touch with their needs, like friendships. So adult to adult functioning is healthy at work and also in your personal life when it comes to relationships. There's also the parent to child or one up relationship. That's where it's like you come in, so you're a parent over other people. And so when you have the parental style, or when you treat people as children, it's like you're always the one with the knowledge. You always know what's right for another person. These people give a lot of advice. They try to help individuals come to solutions, and that's kind of their default. There's also child to parent, and this is one down. And in this one down stance, it's almost like you're always looking for approval, or other people's ideas really impact you, and you almost have to get permission before making a big decision. You'll want to make sure that you get somebody else's opinion so you don't really have to take responsibility in this position. There's always someone kind of telling you what to do, so that you don't have to take responsibility. And then there's a rebellious child, and those that rebellious stance is you really just don't like authority, and so behind the scenes often you'll be exercising your independence, and so it's like you chafe against leaders. There's more on this later on. Then we have the character structure of adulthood and competence, and that's your work and professional life, and have you cultivated and developed your passions, what you like, and you're growing in your ability to do well in a career, in contribution to society, and it's like to your church family. Your competence is how well you're able to impact in the professional realm. Purpose is your ability to know. It's kind of those existential questions like, why am I here on the earth? Why do I believe what I believe? When I die, where do I go? A lot of those, and then also, why am I on this earth? What's my mission on earth? So dealing with those big existential questions is especially the character structure of integration, the character structure of adulthood and purpose. Then we have sexuality, and that's dealing with genders. How do you do with the opposite gender? It's also how are you doing with in sexual relationships, or in your thought life, or in are you coming in as adult to adult, and if you're married, as far as like intimacy and sexuality, or and so also processing the past. A lot of us come in with a lot of traumatic sexual content, and so how have we dealt with that? Have we processed through our trauma? And are we able to own our sexuality and be fulfilled in that area? So here's the different levels of character development. It integrates a lot of the different substructures. So level 1 explores expertise, skills, and sexual feelings, begins to recognize different preferences and opinions one has on authority, or aware of one's defiance, or subtly feeling better than others, recognizes hiding patterns. So being aware of what we do. I think so often we think we're adult to adult, but really we're one up, one down, or rebellious child. And so really being able to identify when we're doing the different patterns, level 1. Level 2 expresses preferences and opinions directly to authority, and is aware of frustration and anger towards authority, becomes less defiant, and does not experience a desire to be better than others. Or always the one with all the knowledge, or the one that's correct, or the one with the answers, being able to put that aside. Level 3 makes decisions that come from oneself, and without a childlike constant need for external permission, nor reactionary, prepares for or finds a vocation, and uses their passion, expertise, and skills to live out the purpose. And then level 4 is feels mutual in authority, and possesses a clear, strong voice, connects sexuality to relationships and morality, seeks out personal development to increase leadership and influencing role, and to have more of an impact. So it's always really good to read through this and see where you're at in the different parts. You might be here on one, here on another, because again, it's a lot of different substructures all put together. So you might be at level 1 in one of the 4 areas, and you might be higher on another. But it's really good to stop and identify where you're at. And then finally, we have the adulthood hiding patterns. And so take time to figure out one internal hiding pattern that you use. This is what happens inside of you. And then one relational hiding pattern that you use, what you do in relationships. And that, again, that knowledge we don't condemn ourselves for that, but we get open, curious, accepting, and loving towards why we do that, because there's a resilient reason that we adopted this hiding pattern. And when we are compassionate with ourselves and able to get curious, open, accepting, and loving towards why we do what we do, then in that atmosphere of grace, truth, and time, we can change. Thank you for joining me today on character formation coaching, and I hope today's session was really helpful and that you got a lot out of it. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. All right, thanks for joining me today. Bye.